Breaking news. This just came down the news wire, but Le'Veon Bell has signed a 1-year contract with the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, terms of this contract has not been disclosed, and I know a lot of you guys like to pay attention to what's in the contract itself. I don't know what type of things that they're offering him, what type of incentives they're offering him, but it's a 1-year deal with the Kansas City Chiefs, okay? So, Le'Veon Bell, a.k.a. Juice, signs a 1-year deal with the Kansas City Chiefs. After, on social media, he demonstrates his frustration there with the New York Jets, and Keyshawn Johnson, being a strong advocate for Juice, has echoed his sentiments, talking about how the New York Jets organization didn't utilize him well or proper. They didn't utilize his talent. All right? Even though, I'm going to say this for the record, let's be frank and let's be fair. The New York Jets organization has been stinking up the joint for the past several years. And the first mistake that they made a lot of mistakes, but their biggest mistake is they didn't prioritize their priorities. All right? Instead of, they should have been looking for a quarterback for the future, building the offensive line. And if you want to add pieces around the offense, such as you want to pay top dollar for a wide receiver, or, top dollar for a running back, if you have the money there, cool. All right. Instead, they haven't discovered a quarterback, and their first acquisition is a running back. They signed Le'Veon Bell to that crazy max money. And we're in an era of football where you really don't need a 1,000-yard productive back to have a productive season in the NFL. When you're throwing the ball down the field and you got rules in place where you can't touch the quarterback, everyone's throwing the ball. This is a copycat league. And the Jets did totally the opposite. They haven't established their quarterback for the future. They didn't really use their resources in construction, as far as building an offensive line. And the first thing they did was sign Le'Veon Bell. Think about that for a second. So Le'Veon Bell was critical of the Jets organization. Keyshawn Johnson is a strong advocate for Le'Veon Bell. They're both divas. And they are critical of the New York Jets because of how they utilize a Le'Veon Bell. And which, by the way, the Jets are still looking for their quarterback in the future. Okay, because they're going to, next NFL draft, they're going to get one of the top 3 picks, and they're going to utilize that pick for a quarterback. Okay, that's just a hidden gem for you guys, just in case you don't know what's going on with the New York Jets. Okay, I know a lot of people don't watch the New York Jets. Okay, so they're critical of the Jets utilizing his talent, displaying his ability, even though Juice has shown up to training camp overweight last offseason. He signs a 1-year deal with the Kansas City Chiefs. Do anyone know the vocal point of the Kansas City Chiefs offense? Don't they spread the ball around? Don't they throw the ball down the field? Mahomes boy, that bunch, that group. When Le'Veon, well, first of all, he's not going to be active for the upcoming game this Sunday because of COVID-19 protocols. Okay, but then the first opponent he gets an opportunity to display his quote-unquote talent is a team that released him, which is the New York Jets. Oh my God, isn't that a coinkadink? Wow. Surely Mr. Le'Veon Bell, a.k.a. Juice, didn't look when it comes to up-and-coming opponents for who he's going to sign for as a free agent. Surely he didn't do that. Of course he didn't do that, right? He wouldn't do that. He's thinking football first, right? He's thinking winning first. He's thinking about getting a Super Bowl, right? Getting a Super Bowl ring, right? He wouldn't dare. No. Not Mr. Le'Veon Bell, a.k.a. Juice in the hip-hop streets. Almost was a hairline away from being a full-time rapper. He's still a part-time rapper, and he's pretty good rapping. But Le'Veon Bell signs with the Kansas City Chiefs, and the frustration he had with the New York Jets, talking about they didn't utilize him well, they didn't give him enough touches. Well, how many touches he's going to get at the ball with Kansas City? He's not even going to be their full-time running back. They don't even utilize their running back. He's going to be second in the chart on the depth chart, and the only way he's going to start as a running back, if there's an injury along the way or something doesn't happen, or maybe a different package when they play in the winter time, in the winter months, when they want to stop throwing the ball down the field, and when it gets colder, I can see a situation where they'll start Le'Veon Bell. But if you wasn't happy with the Jets, and you didn't they didn't quote unquote utilize you as the face of that franchise, then how are you going to handle it when the Kansas City Chiefs don't give you enough touches? How are you going to handle it when the Kansas City Chiefs start demonstrating different packages and you're not in those packages? How are you going to handle that? Are you going to go back to social media and troll the Kansas City Chiefs like you did the New York Jets? I think overall it's a 1-year deal. They're not losing a lot of sleep. They're not losing a lot of money on the salary cap. I'm pretty sure it's got incentives in it. It's an incentive-laden contract. And I'm pretty sure they got an out in that contract if Mr. Le'Veon Bell, a.k.a. Juice, acts up. They can release him, and they're not gonna lose a lot of money on their salary cap. That's good as well. But Mr. Le'Veon Bell, a.k.a. Juice, got a lot of things to prove. A lot of people have lost a lot of faith in Le'Veon Bell. And this just goes, and I just made a video about this. It just goes to show, for the next NFL potential star that's, fighting for their money and does all the right things, is positive, is a leader on and off the field, does everything right, does everything what the coach wants him to do, develop year after year, getting better and better and better, does everything perfectly. And when it's time for that individual to get their contract, the first thing they're going to do, they're going to point to Le'Veon Bell. Well, we can't give you guaranteed money because remember, the Jets gave guaranteed money to Le'Veon Bell. Look how that happened. Antonio Brown, he went to the Raiders. The Raiders gave him money up front. Look what happened. Then the Patriots tried to give him money, gave him a contract with incentives where he could get most of his money that he lost with the Raiders. Look how that happened. You got so few bad examples of players like this. But owners are going to use those examples. And this is why the NFL was one of the reasons. This is why one of the reasons why the NFL is never going to have guaranteed contracts in their league. Because of this, as well as this, the NFL is a violent sport. The average career of an NFL is short. If you're lucky, if you're blessed, maybe 6 years. So you can't have guaranteed contracts in a league where your career is very short in the NFL. You're like a tackle away from either being out for a season or a career-ending situation. So, good for Le'Veon Bell. Good for Le'Veon Bell fans. Great for Keyshawn Johnson. We'll see if Keyshawn continues to make apologies for Le'Veon Bell's behavior, his actions. Well, there's an excuse for the reason why he acts the way he acts. Okay, so that's good for Le'Veon Bell. I hope it works out for him. But like I said, he has no wiggle room, because he's got a lot of show and prove for the rest of the teams that may be interested in signing him next offseason. He's going to have to be a good boy. Very good boy. All right. Well, that's all I got. Guys, I'll talk to you guys later. Deuces.